This video is kindly sponsored by NordVPN. New camera gear is exciting. It gives us that spark of inspiration, that little push to get out and shoot. But if you've ever bought something new only to feel that excitement fade after a short while, you're definitely not alone. The truth is, better photos don't come from better gear, they come from better habits. So today I've got 5 simple photography habits that can outshine any new gear purchase. So hopefully this video gives you a little inspiration for your next photo trip. Hello and welcome back. So I've got a couple of different locations I want to shoot today along the coastal path. A couple of locations I've not been to before. And the forecast is for good conditions later on. So I'm really excited to see what we can find today. Now it's so easy to get sucked into new gear purchases, isn't it? And around Christmas time I was considering upgrading some of my lenses. But I've put that on hold for a while because I actually want to invest that money, especially in the short term, in experiences rather than equipment. So I'm still looking for that perfect pocketable camera, but my other gear purchases, my other upgrades I was considering, I'm just putting on the back burner for a while. At the end of the day, I think it's the subject matter that really counts. And that kind of leads me on to my first good photography habit that you should definitely give a try. Editing is a big part of photography, and I'm a huge advocate for shooting with the edit in mind. When you approach a shot with intent, the final result often comes together more naturally. But if you find yourself spending more time editing than you expected, it might be worth rethinking your approach in the field. For me, I'd rather spend more time out shooting, really creating the photo, than sitting behind a screen trying to fix it later. So instead of relying on the edit, I try to slow down and just observe. Watch how the light changes throughout the day, how the shadows stretch and shift. The more you pay attention in the moment, the less you'll need to correct in post-production. Of course, every raw file needs some level of editing, but if you capture good data to begin with, the editing process becomes so much quicker and far easier. So this location's really cool. It's like a little lagoon, a secluded lagoon, really nice. But I'm going to try and get to the end of the beach here to see what's over this little bit of a headland here, just to see. I've got no idea, but it's worth a look. And the last photo there, the light was very flat. I opted for a black and white, more of a sort of panoramic style framing with a long exposure. I put the 10-stop filter on there, giving me a 60-second exposure, just smoothing that water out. And I think it was okay, definitely not a world beater by any stretch of the imagination, but I did enjoy taking it, and that's always the most important thing really, isn't it? Anyway, I need to navigate this bit of a steep incline just here. I don't think I'm going that way. I need to retrace my steps. There we go. Right, let's see what's over this bit of a rocky shoreline. So this does look quite interesting. We've got the fort there in the river estuary. Maybe I'll venture down there and take a quick look. So I've played around with a couple of compositions here, and to be honest, it's not working out too well. However, this area is absolutely fantastic and there's definitely shots to be had. There's a couple of reasons why I'm struggling. One is the light is very, very flat. And two, I think the tide just needs to be about a metre higher, because if the waves were crashing over these rock slabs here, creating a series of waterfalls and swirls around this monolithic looking rock formation we've got here, I think it could be very, very good. So I'm going to make a note of the tide height at the minute, and then pencil it in my book of places to revisit, because I think if the tide's about a metre higher, it will be absolutely perfect, especially if we've got some nice side light coming through. So yeah, do you know what I just did? Like that whole section we just walked back there, my bag was completely undone. I didn't know this at all. I only just found out when I put my bag down to get my camera out. The whole back panel was completely undone, so I hadn't zipped it up. I've done it before, and fortunately nothing's fallen out so far, but let me know if you guys have done that. It's one of those things, it's so easy done, isn't it? But yeah, gosh, so lucky. Could have been the whole lot on the floor on those rocks. But anyway, yeah, I'll put this image up just so you can see, and we'll go and take a hike down the coastal path now and see if we can make some shots this afternoon, and keeping our fingers crossed for this claggy overcast conditions to roll through, and hopefully we'll get some nice light this evening. Produced a few videos now with my Between the Hills project, which I am thoroughly enjoying. I really am, and I've received quite a lot of messages to say that people are enjoying it too. So please do let me know, if you're enjoying that project, if you'd like to see me do more documentary style videos in the future, because obviously I only want to make these videos if you guys are enjoying them. So please do let me know in the comments. But I am thoroughly enjoying that project. It is a little bit different, but I do feel like the two genres fit quite well side by side. But yeah, please do let me know in the comments. Anyway, that kind of brings me on to my next good photography habit. I think it's easy to get comfortable in one style of photography, whether it's landscapes, portraits, street, or something else. And while there's nothing wrong with having a favourite genre, stepping outside of it can make you a more rounded photographer overall. That's definitely been the case for me. Since starting Between the Hills, I've been looking at my landscapes with fresh eyes as well. Shooting different styles teaches us new ways to see and compose an image. If you're a landscape photographer, trying street photography can improve your ability to react quickly and frame dynamic moments. If you're into portraits, experimenting with nature photography might help you understand light and texture in a new way. For a while I hesitated to step outside of my comfort zone, I think mainly because I'm sharing my work here on YouTube, but pushing myself to try something new has been a real eye-opener. So I highly recommend picking a different style of photography than what you usually shoot and just giving it a go. You might just discover a whole new way of seeing the world. So I was going to grab a quick sandwich from the cafe before we move on to our next amazing location. But it turns out I'm out of luck as it's closed at the moment because it's off season. So I'm going to have to make do with my digestive biscuits instead. But fortunately, they do have free Wi-Fi, which is turned on, which is great because I need to write and schedule my newsletter for this afternoon, which is absolutely perfect. But as you probably know, connecting to a public Wi-Fi isn't always the safest option, and that's exactly where the sponsor of today's video, NordVPN, comes in. Now, NordVPN is all about keeping you safe online by encrypting your internet connection, allowing you to browse securely and even choose which country you're connecting from. It even lets you unlock Netflix libraries from different countries as well, which my family absolutely love because they get to watch loads of new shows from all over the world. But NordVPN does more than just protect your connection. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro offers advanced protection from malware, phishing, scams and other online threats. You can visit nordvpn.com/Ian Worth to learn more about how this works. Now, the problem with public Wi-Fi like this is that it's not always secure. Hackers can set up fake networks to intercept your data in a man-of-the-middle attack. They can then spy on your activity or even alter your information without you knowing. To stop this, NordVPN encrypts your traffic, keeping your data secure no matter where you connect. I just wouldn't be without it, to be honest. There's a special link in my video description, which is nordvpn.com/Ian Worth. Clicking it helps to support this channel, and it gives you an exclusive deal, 2 years of NordVPN plus 4 months. And if you're not satisfied, they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee as well, which is a fantastic offer. A big thanks to NordVPN for keeping us safe and supporting this channel. Right, let's get this email sent. I think it's easy to get stuck in a bubble when learning photography, like watching tutorials, studying other photographers and focusing on camera techniques. But some of my favourite inspiration comes from outside of photography. Films, for example, can teach us so much about framing, composition and storytelling. Observe how scenes are lit, how directors use a sequence to guide a story, or how they create mood through colour and contrast. Painters do the same. Classic artists like Rembrandt or Monet mastered light and texture in ways that can completely change how you see your own photos. Even music can shape the way you approach photography, how rhythm, emotion and pacing translate into visual storytelling. So if you're looking for a spark of creativity, consider stepping away from photography for a moment. Watch a beautifully shot film, visit an art gallery, or even just listen to music and imagine how it would have looked as an image. You never know where this might lead. So we've had lots of activity in the estuary over the last 15 minutes or so, lots of ships coming and going, been quite interesting. We've had this wonderful halo around the sun as well, which I was racing around trying to find a composition for, similar to what we had a few weeks ago with that black and white shot looking down the coast, which was pretty cool. This time though, I found a couple of lone hawthorn trees and I tried to use the halo around the sun to frame these hawthorn trees, create a silhouette, maybe a black and white image. Yeah, had lots of fun there. Hopefully got a couple of good images there. But yeah, we're heading down the coastal path now. Not sure what we're going to find, but one thing is for certain, the light has improved a lot. So yeah, really excited to see if we can make a couple more images this evening. Wow. Hello. So much is happening today. Just activity everywhere. It's absolutely brilliant. You know, some days you go out, don't you, and literally nothing happens. And yeah, nice picture of the horse back there, but heading down to the end of the peninsula here in this a lovely old ruin. Looks absolutely fantastic, and the light out there is just sublime. I think we're in for a real treat this evening. So while we're hot-footing it to the next location, here is my next photography habit that you should definitely try. Sometimes the most powerful images are the ones that leave things open to interpretation, letting the viewer draw their own conclusions. Instead of capturing a scene that explains everything, consider looking for moments that spark curiosity. We see this in songwriting. Some of the most popular lyrics of all time don't make complete sense when read aloud, but it's the listener who fills in the missing pieces, making the song feel more personal to them. And in a way, photography can do the same thing. I have to say though, this is one of the hardest things to pull off in photography, or at least that's how it feels for me. Maybe this image is an example of where I've tried to do that. At first glance it's just a pair of weathered doors, but then you notice the sign which gives a sense of location. The first aid symbol suggests some kind of risk or danger, and in the upper left the orange security fencing looks disturbed, almost as if someone is broken in. Whether or not this is a great example, I do think there's more to this shot than just a couple of doors, and it does ask questions rather than give answers. This place is absolutely incredible. Kind of lost for words. Just unreal. Looking through here. Genuinely don't know what to say. Ridiculous. Right. Maybe we'll come back to this for sunset. So I'm just crouching down here behind this mound because I've spotted a couple of chuffs, and obviously they're quite a rare bird species, and it's a bit of a magical moment, to be honest. They're just feeding in the field here, trying to get some shots of them with the 7300. I'm going to try and get a little bit closer to see if I can make a couple more shots, but quite a special moment. What a day. Right, let's see if we can get a bit closer. So apologies about the noise, it's really noisy in this little gully here, and I don't want to hang around too long because you might just be able to see behind me there's quite a few landslips up there, and if they move now I'm in serious trouble, so I really just want to grab this shot and move on. I've gone for the wide angle lens, the 13mm Big Trucks lens, a 15th of a second to show some motion in the water, f8. And yeah, the sun's setting now, but it's quite blue, the sky up there, but there is a few golden hues towards the horizon. So I think it might make quite a nice shot. We will see. Put it up and let's get back down that coastal path and see if we can make an image by the old ruin. Going out for the day with just one focal length or focusing on a specific style or subject can be a great way to push your creativity. It's something I do a lot and it really helps me refine my approach. But at the same time, I've learned that staying open-minded and receptive can lead to some of the best photographic opportunities. Sometimes the shot you thought you'd take isn't the one that ends up being the most interesting. Maybe the light is different from what you expected, or a completely unplanned moment catches your eye, like those chuffs earlier. Being open to those unexpected opportunities rather than being too rigid with a plan can lead to some of the most memorable photos. So while it's great to go out with a plan, don't be afraid to break away from it. Stay curious, stay flexible, and see where your surroundings take you. Some of the best shots happen when you least expect them. So we are framed up at the ruin. We've got a lot of blue sky out to the right hand side. I've tried to balance the ruin, to the right hand side of the sun just to give it a bit of balance, but just feel a little bit awkward. But I'm going to be taking the shot anyway, and we'll see what happens once the sun dips down. We'll be able to expose better then for the foreground, and maybe this cloud will come across and we'll get some colours in the cloud. So it's definitely worth sticking out and seeing what happens, definitely. But I'll put the image up for you, and yeah, hopefully it's a good one. And then I've just got one more point to talk about. So what an absolutely incredible day. I do hope you enjoyed this video. I'm still speechless from some of those breathtaking views we had earlier. Anyway, if you did enjoy it, you might like the one that's up here, and also why not check out my Light in the Landscape guidebook, which is free and it's available to download at the top there, so go and take a look at that if you're interested. Anyway, until next week, do take care. I hope to see you all again very soon.